Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. I'm your host, Gene Jackson, coming to you as always from the Retro Wrestling Archive in Gadsden, Alabama. Of course, we got producer Smokey behind the scenes making it all happen. And right now, join me in welcoming my first co-host. He's the Lone Ranger himself. It's Josh Briley of P3 Radio. Josh, what's up, man?
Man, I tried to find the mask, and I was wrestling around through some shit, and I could not find it. So just wore the hat, the Lone Ranger.
Well, you only would have had to warn it for about 2 minutes. The mystery of the Lone Ranger in Memphis did not last very long. Very long at all.
No, but it was so awesome back in the day, man, watching that as a kid.
We're gonna have some fun with that, dude. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep, but nothing can bring me down this morning. I'm so excited. I'm gonna wait till we get BT on. Hopefully he doesn't spoil it before I get a chance to say it. But when I turned on this week's show, once again, I had to pause it, look at the date, because I thought I'd click the wrong one again. But I didn't click the wrong one. I clicked the right one. And oh my God, Christmas came early, but we won't get to that just yet. First, let's bring on our other co-host. He's the owner, founder, and president of stspod.club, and he's currently Jonesboro, Arkansas's favorite resident. Spoiler alert, it's Brian Trammell. BT, what's up, sir?
Hey, my best friend Gene and my favorite host of P3 Radio, Josh. How the hell are you guys? I'm getting Buck over here and brought to you by Jolly Royal Furniture. Remember, you can open an account today or reopen that very old account. I'm also brought to you by Arm Twist Shine. And get this, my Cash App's $BTSTS, because I'm still unemployed. And I promise you, if you send me money, I'll half it with Gene. How's that?
Hey,
there you go. I'm going to tease a couple of things we're going to talk about on Patreon. Me and Gene were talking earlier this week, and I have a Rob Feinstein story, which is really funny. Yes, right. A Rob Feinstein story. It has nothing to do with sex with a kid, allegedly. And
speaking of, that leads you into your next segue.
Hey, I didn't say that. Hey, on this past Saturday on Memphis Wrestling, we had Jerry Lawler's first segment ever on Memphis Wrestling. We're going to play the promo. And let me just say, I've seen a lot of positive comments, but I've also seen a lot of, mean comments, bad comments. But I want to get it from you two guys. We're going to play the video, and then when we come back, I'll get you two guys to give me your impression of Lawler on the new Memphis Wrestling. And I'll shut up now. Gene, let's get started. This is a different show. Let's just put it that way.
It is. It's May 25th, 1991. I turned the show on, and there he was. Corey Maclin in there in 1991, our first appearance of Corey, and he's got a special co-host. Speaking of the man you was just talking about, BT, Jay the King Lawler going to be out here at the desk with me today. Dave Brown's daughter was getting married somewhere, and Michael St. John was under the weather. He wasn't coloring the weather. He was under the weather.
By the way, he called him Michael St. John's.
That's true. He did add an S.
Sonics and Pipkins building with Michael St. John's. There you go.
Yeah, Michael St. John's at the Pipkins building today. Yeah. That's a good call. I forgot to make a note of that, but he certainly did. He clearly added an S. But, man, it's funny because, I don't remember Corey being on in 1990, but it's like Corey's just here, and it's like, he's always been here. Like, he mentions that Dave and Michael St. John's aren't going to be here, but it's not like, hey, I'm Corey Maclin. There's no explanation of who this dude is or where he's come from. And then he brings Lawler out, and Lawler's going to co-host, and Corey Maclin's here. But like I said, it's just kind of like he's always been here. There's no real explanation of what his role is or where he's been or who he is or anything else. He hasn't settled in. Like, we don't get very many in theirs this week. He did say right along ringside. Other than that, he really wasn't. I feel like down the line, he's doing his version of Lance Russell. He's trying.
Maybe.
And I didn't really feel that this week. No big moves. So we
He
haven't
did ridiculous. He did
Yeah,
ridiculous.
but he pronounced it ridiculous the first time. The
Yes.
first time he ever said it, he pronounced it correctly. And then before the end of the show,
well, once this incident happens to Robert Fuller, he's just at ringside, just ridiculousing it up. I mean, he's just, no, ridiculous.
yeah.
Like, this is the most ridiculous thing I ever seen. Like, he didn't know anything else to say.
And
Other
then
than,
in the-
oh,
one of the-
man.
Oh,
man, this is ridiculous. Oh, man,
this is
this is ridiculous.
This is sick.
Yeah.
This is just sick. But we got a spectacular when he was doing one of the local promo things. I had to rewind that and just belly laugh. It was great.
I love it. I never thought I'd be so
wish
happy
we would have had
to
an
see Corey
ambulance. Like,
Maclin.
man, I wish we'd had an ambulance.
Well, we're going to talk about that because somebody needed an ambulance. And he didn't even get so much as a freaking nurse practitioner or a medic. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So for the last 2 weeks, we've started the show off with Ben Jordan. You know, the first week he scored what I consider to be kind of a surprise win over J.R. Alzado, who I thought was going to be somebody, and turns out not really. The next week, last week, he hits Rob Golden dead on the chin with a drop kick, knocked him out cold like a Mike Tyson knockout of the day. This week, he's facing the Texas Ranger. Things don't go so well for Ben. He basically gets jobbed out by this Texas Ranger. This guy comes in. He's got the blue jeans on. He's got the assless chaps. He's got a mask, but he's also got a bandana around his face to further hide his identity. Now, I'm sure BT saw this in the Observer, but I'm going to ask Josh, just watching this match, do you know who the Texas Ranger is?
No, I've always wondered that. But I've never searced for that.
I've actually seen 2 names for the Texas Rangers. So
I have
don't know
too,
who
and
this
there's only
was.
one that I know for sure it has to be. But do you want to say now who those 2 names
It's
are?
either
We'll let
Gary
Josh
Young,
guess.
either Gary Young or Jeff Gaylord.
Actually, there's been 3 names.
Who was
There
third?
was Gary Young, Jeff Gaylord, and Rod Price was originally in the very first report of it.
Oh, okay.
Meltzer said, I believe this is Rod Price. I'm like, that wasn't Rod Price. And then I was like, it's too tall to be Gary Young. But see, the confusion comes in. Gary Young did a Texas Ranger gimmick. Well, I think he actually called his Lone Ranger, I think, down in Dallas.
But yeah,
when you look at this match and look at how this guy works, this is Gaylord.
Mm-hmm. The leg drop was a dead ringer. Whenever you made that comparison, I'm like, yep, them leg drops.
And then there's a Mask Outlaw 1 and 2 on the Monday night show, and they're saying one of those was Gary Young also. So I don't know. Who knows who those guys are? But yeah, you're right about. I never thought about Jeff Gaylord until I looked at both names and watched the match again. I was like, yeah, I think that's him. Yeah, it was really too big to be Gary Young.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Price was a big man, but he wasn't that tall. So
right.
By process of elimination, just height alone, but then the work style, if you will. I mean, it's a lot of clubbing and choking and clotheslines, and he hits the most awkward bulldog you've ever seen in your life to wrap this thing up. And then he gets the old 1-finger pin there. I forgot. We've got a couple of clips. Let's go back and let's hear a little bit from the debut of Corey, and then we're going to see a clip of the Texas Outlaw and see if everybody or Texas Ranger rather, and see if everybody agrees with it. But first, let's get our first taste of Corey Maclin in here.
All right. Hello again, everybody. I'm Corey Maclin. At ringside today, another big day of championship wrestling, and I have some bad news and I have some good news on today. The bad news is Michael St. John's is out. He's ill. He's had a serious surgery. Hope he'll do well. And Dave Brown's out today. His daughter is getting married. But the good news is I'm here, and I have a special co-host with me today. We were trying to get in touch with him and see if we could get him out here, and we got him in the last minute. Hopefully he's here today. Here he is now. Here's my co-host. With us today, the king himself, Jerry Lawler. All right, King. He's going to be my co-host today. So glad to have you back here, King. I know he's not ready yet to be in the ring, but you can sit here and be with me today.
Thank you. Man, it's a pleasure to be back here. It really is good. As you said, I haven't been given the final clearance from the doctors yet to be back in the ring, but Eddie Marlin called me at the last minute, said that Dave Brown's, as you said, Dave Brown's daughter's getting married, and Michael St. John's a little under the weather. So I said, I'll rush right over here. I'd love to be here.
There he is. He sounds a little different, early Corey does, than what we got used to later on, but he's here, and I'm excited about it. So let's take a look now at some action from this Texas Ranger. And I think if you're watching this along with us on YouTube, I think you'll agree this is definitely not Gary Young or Rod Price. It could only be one person.
Neighbors trying to get him to get a break, and this Texas Ranger just comes out here, drops his leg on Jordan, and
He hadn't given Ben a chance to breathe yet. I mean, Ben didn't even get a chance to realize the match had started. This guy was just all over him from even before the open bell.
Before the bell. He didn't wait on the bell at all. He went right after Ben Jordan. He takes Jordan now into the ropes.
Oh,
big clothesline.
Almost took his head off.
Texas Ranger, first look at him in the USWA. He's here on today. What a great crowd today, too, King.
Yeah, good crowd, but they're what's this?
What is
the bulldog.
Big bulldog.
Man, I want to tell you, that drives your face right into the mat.
He takes Jordan down.
It's hard to come around from that. Oh, look at this cocky cover here.
2. He got him.
Oh, he's covering him with one finger there.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. The Texas Ranger. There's a look at him there. First look.
The old two-step bulldog there.
Man, that looked like it hurt.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Everything about that match, and I'm speaking from when I watched it live as a kid. My perception of this match was, God, everything this dude does looks like it hurts. And he's wearing real cowboy boots, like dance floor cowboy boots, and he shot Ben Jordan in with the Irish whip, and he just throws his foot out there and like kicked him for real. That looked like, I can't imagine, dude. I've never been kicked full force with the heel of a cowboy boot, but God almighty.
Do you think this match was like maybe some punishment for Ben Jordan for knocking out that kid last week, or is this just coincidental?
I don't know. I thought here's what I want to know: is every heel got to be Texas, right? Because they brought in some other masked guys again for Monday night, and I'm just like, I'm so sick of this. I mean, can we just have a normal heel?
Well, I mean, in Smoky Mountain, Dirty White Boy did the whole thing where he renounced Tennessee and he was a Yankee and he would wear New York Yankees jerseys and all this stuff there. I was just waiting once he showed up for that to be the case, for him to come in with a bunch of Texas garb on and, him to denounce Tennessee. But that never happened. He was, feuding with Eddie Gilbert, but he was never really out there amongst any of the Texas promos, and he didn't really claim Texas. But I thought, well, it's going to be fun if we get Dirty White Boy out here, cowboyed up. But I mean, they just went in the closet. They went in somebody's closet and pulled out every Western wear related thing they could find. They just piled it on Jeff. They're like, we pile enough of this shit on him. We put a bandana around his face. Maybe nobody will recognize this is Jeff Gaylord. They'll just think it's Frankenstein in a cowboy outfit, because that's how he moved around the ring.
Hey, there's a gimmick. Hey, there's a gimmick right there. Frankenstein cowboy.
Texas Frankenstein.
I find it ironic that even back then, the little thought in my head was, this guy looks like he's fixing to rob a stagecoach. And wow,
he did rob a stagecoach.
Wow, right?
The same one. Look, there you go.
Hey man, there's a laboratory in the back of Gillies, and we created this Frankenstein Texas Ranger, man. So speaking of Eric Embry, last week we talked a lot, and I actually got some feedback from some of the listeners messaged me this week about the whole debacle with the loser leaves town and raised the wrong hand and all that. And we talked about last week, like, all right, well, we're having a rematch. Don't see Embry leaving, but don't really see Dundee leaving. How are we going to end this one? What the hell are we going to do this time? Well, Eric Embry pinned Dundee once again, but this time everybody saw it. We're all on the same page. So I guess Bill Dundee is going to be leaving town for 30 days. But before he goes, he does want to do what he promised. He promised he was going to bring his son, Jamie Dundee, out there to explain himself. So he brings Jamie out. And Jamie takes a bullet for him. And we all want to put one on our head. Watch this.
I don't know if the fans realize, but you had a match now with Eric Embry.
Yes, I did.
And the stipulation was the loser of that match would not be allowed to wrestle in the USWA for 30 days.
Well, I ain't wrestling. That's why I'm not wrestling today. I just come by because I promised the people 2 weeks ago. I told you the man wanted to say something. He couldn't come last week, or he didn't come. I think he's more embarrassed than he is anything else, and he wants to clear up the Dundee name, as he says, so just let him tell it his way.
Well, that's a good idea.
Well, the reason I'm here is I wanted to apologize to my dad and to all these people out here today, on television today, because this is where it all started. This is where it began, right here on television, and that's what I want to do, was to apologize on television today in front of the whole world. I wanted to apologize to you and to everybody else because I made a fool of the Dundee name, of me, of my dad, and of everything that he has built up in the past 16 years. I could have shut down in 2 days.
I'm certainly not going to stand here and disagree with you, Jamie, because I know myself and all of these fans over here were probably thinking the same thing, and hopefully this is a good start on getting things patched up.
And I'm glad you brought up that 30-day suspension thing. I was reading my dad's contract, and it says that I read the whole contract, and it says William Dundee. Yeah, that's me. Okay. Well, if I could get Eddie Martin out here for a minute, I want to do something here, okay? Can I get Eddie Marlin out here?
Eddie Marlin, there, right there. Come on, Ed. Eddie Marlin and Eddie, we got Bill and Jamie out here. Jamie wants to ask you something.
Now, you know me since I was a little bitty boy, right? Yeah. And you know me since I've grown up all my life. You know me. And Eric Embry couldn't beat Bill Dundee on his best day.
I agree.
One-on-one. One-on-one. And I read the contract, and the contract says William Dundee, correct? Well, you know that my real name is William Jamie Dundee, right? Okay. So what I was thinking, if it USWA Board of Directors or you or whoever it is, I will be the one to leave for 30 days. I will be the William Dundee to leave for 30 days, and we can get one over on the Texas bunch if you can do something about it to help us. Because he deprived this man of work, and that's not correct. That's not right.
Hey, Eddie, what he's saying, too, is these jerks are always using every kind of technicality. They're using every kind of loophole they can. This is a chance for like you said, to get one over on the Texas bunch.
Well, Jamie.
William.
I agree with you 100%. I think somebody needs to get something over on the Texas bunch. And I might get myself in some hot water with the main office, but I'm going to go along with it. I like the idea myself.
This may be one of the most convoluted fucking things. Like, I can't believe they even had the nerve to come out here and try this. Jamie's such a natural at being a heel. Like, those promos just flowed. This one, he's like, I wanted to come out here on television and tell everybody on television. Like this doesn't feel natural. I don't know if it's just the fact that somebody came to him like, hey, here's what we're doing. And even he knew, like, this is fucking stupid. And I cannot go out there and believably put this over, and put my heart into it, because this is ridiculous. His name's William. My name's William. So we're going to let me be gone for 30 days, even though I hadn't been here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Now I'm just going to go be gone again. What do you guys think of this? Good Lord.
I mean, maybe I'm a victim of nostalgia. That may be my problem, because the way that I see this shit is through a lens of, a certain color, and you guys are looking at it probably through a different set of lens. Maybe, you didn't see it when it happened or whatever, but I remember as a kid, I absolutely ate this shit up. I thought it was the coolest thing ever that we got something over on them again. And I literally forgot that they had another match. I like that. That's how much I was into this as a kid. I totally forgot that they had another do or die decision match the next week. I didn't care. I was happy that Jamie was trying to be a good guy again, and trying to do the right thing and get back with his family and stuff. But if you want to dissect it and does it make sense or not, whatever. Like it doesn't. I'll admit that. Like looking at it through the logical lens and all that now, no, it don't make sense and it's BS. But I still love it because I experienced it another way and through another set of eyes.
I get what Josh is saying, and we, always say it's good. I'm so glad Josh is on here because he always seems to have a different point of view than Gene and I. But all I could think of was it's coming off the rails and horse shit. I read about it ahead of time. I watched it. I rewound it and watched it again. And then when Gene played it, that's the third time I've seen it. And all I could do is sit here and go, oh, just shaking my head going, how bad is this? And I want to make a note because later on, Eddie Marlin does something else. But this all comes off as if Eddie Marlin, and this is something Gene talked about last week, is Eddie Marlin is the heel commish. That's the role he is playing, is the heel commissioner. And it's real goofy right now for me.
And Embry's the victim of this. Fucked him. I mean, as a 14-year-old kid, I remember reading this in a magazine going,
huh?
That's fucking ridiculous. Especially coming off that. If they hadn't just did last week's screwy, nonsensical shit, then maybe you could do this. But after you slapped everybody in the face with that last week, of that whole mess, and then like, all right, well, they're going to have to deliver this week, right? They're not going to do like 2 Herb Abrams fuck finishes 2 weeks in a row, are they? Yeah, they are. Here we are. But I just like BT. I love that you have a different perspective, Josh, and that honestly, that's how I'm sure most fans think. We got him, woohoo! Suck on that, Eric Embry, you son of a bitch. So if that was the general consensus, that's awesome. I hope it was, but I think we're headed down a bad path here, and we're going to see it
feels like it
continue to get worse. So Josh is happy with the finish, but I'll tell you who wasn't happy with it. That's old Eric Embry. Let's hear what he has to say about this, man.
Title and Eric. And the Texas heavyweight title. I don't know who you are, where you come from, where they got you. I don't really care.
Right.
Eddie Marlin, you just come out here, man, and reinstated the mighty mouth of the Mid-South. Well, Eddie Marlin, I'm going to pull whatever kind of strings I can pull, man, and it's going to cost you your job. How could you change the contract, man? Everybody on TV saw the little midget sign the contract, and his punk kid comes out, says, oh, let me make right all the wrongs I did. Let me take my daddy's place. Well, Jamie Dundee, when you come back, don't ever turn your back, man. And if I see you at McDonald's, I'll slap you there, too. And Dundee, anytime I can get my hands on you, I ain't going to have to worry about him reinstating him again because I'll put you 6 feet under. Now, Jerry the King Lawler, man, the guy that I put out, the guy that I crippled. You say your doctors say it's getting close. You say your doctor says, take it easy, King. It's getting close. You're healing. Well, I hope you are, man, because if you've got enough guts to come back, I swear, as long as there's a breath left in this body, I'll put you right back to where I put you in the first place, Lawler. I notice in the arenas, flamboyant Eric Embry versus the Lone Ranger. Well, Eddie Marlin, evidently, man, you had to go to Texas to get a capable opponent because I kicked everybody's brains out around here. Well, Lone Ranger, when you get in the ring with me, man, you're going to be sorry you ever heard of the USWA.
So he's not happy if he sees Jamie Dundee at McDonald's, he's going to slap the hell out of him. And he's going to put Bill Dundee 6 feet under next time they face off. Perfect reaction, I think, for the situation, right?
Oh, yeah.
God, I love it, man. Like, this is why he's one of my favorite heels of all time. He was so fucking good. Like, he is such a slimy piece of shit, and it just bleeds through the TV. Him out there with that fucking wet ass hair, that shitty ass attitude, that fucking blinged out jacket, that flamboyant bullshit. He's such a piece of shit, and it's exactly what he's supposed to be. He was so fucking good.
I agree with everything Josh said. I mean, he's one of those heels that you just want to punch right in the face. He's just so good at it. Him calling Dundee a midget, aren't they the same? Aren't they?
Yeah,
the
when
same
they were out there
size?
together
What the
and they were
fuck?
in the frame together, like he might have an inch on Dundee at best.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about that, though, is that he opens up acknowledging, I don't know who you are or where you're from or why you're here, and I don't care. And Corey goes to make some kind of response, and he just talks right over him. He goes right into his promo. So then he goes to the ring to take on this Don Kelly. I don't know where they found Don Kelly. Don Kelly takes one punch and just dies. Like he doesn't try to do any offense. He doesn't do anything, but Embry punches him and he falls to the mat. And at that point, he's like a sack of potatoes. Like Embry's having to pick him up and just do things to him, which he gets right to the DDT pretty quick. We don't waste a lot of time, and it's just as well because Don Kelly, I mean, he was like dead on arrival as soon as he took that punch. But then after the DDT and Eric Embry's won the match, well, we were talking about the Lone Ranger. Well, it didn't take long for the Lone Ranger to show up here in the TV5 studio.
Not a racket while he's here. DDT on Don Kelly. Hey, look at here. In the ring. Who is this guy? Oh, he's laying the right on everything. Man, oh man. Oh. Eric Embry, I think may have met his match.
Embry, I've sat out here and listened to you whine and cry about as long as I'm going to. Now they're saying you got some matches with the Lone Ranger. Just hold on. I'm tired of you crying. Let's see who the Lone Ranger is.
Let's see who the Lone Ranger is. All right, I tell you.
Hey, sure, it ain't no Texas boy. It ain't no Texas boy. And let me tell you one thing, Eric Embry. I sat home for 7 stinking weeks watching you because you stuck my hand right between your legs and you spot pile drive me twice. I only got one promise, and that promise is this week I'll have you begging for your life.
Dirty Doug Gilbert.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just as well he took the mask off because the minute he opened his mouth, you know who this guy is. But it's funny because like the people, like when he pulled the mask off, the studio popped.
Huge pop.
Everybody's
pop.
firmly behind him. They pop a couple more times. And then kind of like Eddie, he throws in a line at the end. And I'm going to have you begging for your life. And it's dead silence. Everybody's like, hey, chill, dude, like, calm down. I'm like, this is wrestling. We're not.
He fired up.
Yeah, we can't do all
He
that.
did get fired up, didn't he?
But I liked it though. That it was you were right though. Big pop. And the last time that we seen him, that's what I remember. The fucking pile driver on the concrete floor. You know, and that was when it was a serious thing. You know, but they didn't put a towel around his neck, and he was healed. We know about the healing properties of a towel, but no. He had to stay home for 7 weeks. So, yeah, I remember being super just fired up about Doug because that's how strong Eddie's over now is because he is such a good guy that even his brother's grandfathered in.
Yeah. So, spoiler, Doug hasn't been sitting at home the last 7 weeks. He, Tony Anthony, and Brian Lee had been down in Puerto Rico for a tour down there. Tony Anthony came in a week or two early, started his feud with Eddie, and they waited for just the right moment for the Lone Ranger to show up and to put Doug out there against Eric Embry. We'll talk about at the end of the show when we pitch to BT. I don't know if BT, there's a quote from the Observer.
Yes, I saw it.
Dave makes about this card, and I'll let BT tell that. When we get
I don't know. Maybe I seen it.
If you don't, I'll bring it up.
All right, cool beans.
So Doug's here now. Eddie Gilbert comes out, and he's fired up, so to speak. There's a clip of him throwing a fireball at the Dirty White Boy. I didn't clip that. We've seen a few fireballs in our time, but that's how that match ended, in a disqualification. One of those matches where anything goes except a fireball, that's a disqualification. Eddie was more excited to come out and make the comment, make the joke about Lone Ranger and Tonto than he was anything else. He said he'd been waiting all week for that, which is pretty hilarious to me. That was the highlight of his week. Let's take a listen to this promo from Eddie. This is Dave Meltzer said this is that right here in this period, Eddie Gilbert is doing some of the best babyface promos in the business. So,
wow.
Let's take a look at one of those right now.
In that bout against Tony Anthony, and you end up having to fight Anthony, and then you had to fight Pritchard, White Boy and Pritchard, both.
Well, it's hard for me because Dirty White Boy, being a person at one time, since my brother's here today, I want to say at one time that Dirty White Boy and Doug being partners, I consider the Dirty White Boy a brother of mine. But you know, when it really gets down to it, Corey, we only have certain people in this world in our lifetime we can actually trust with our lives. And right now, if I had to say who I trusted with my life, would be my mother, my father, and my brother. When everything else fails, and when people like Tony Anthony just happen not to be there when you need them, or side with the wrong side, the only people that you can really count on is flesh and blood and being your brother. Embry, Pritchard, Dirty White Boy. Every town that I'm in, every town that Doug's in, I'm going to be watching his back. He's going to be watching mine. Because, boys, I want the people here to understand something. You better understand something. Eric Embry, you don't understand what you've gotten your boys into. The USWA was built on certain names. It was built on this man sitting right here behind me, Jerry Lawler. It was built on Bill Dundee, Tojo Yamamoto, Jerry Jarrett, Tommy Gilbert, Eddie Marlin, and the fabulous Jackie Fargo. And from those men, they're going to have offsprings that are going to come up in the world of professional wrestling. And see, as offsprings, as a Gilbert, having Tommy Gilbert as my dad, it was hard sometimes because everyone compared me to my dad. They always saw Tommy Gilbert's son, Eddie. Well, it was hard for me to overcome. It's been hard for Jeff Jarrett to overcome it, but he's done it. It was hard for Robert Fuller when he started to overcome it, but he did it. Jamie Dundee is just now getting a taste of what it's going to be like. But boys, from now on, Doug Gilbert is going to be his man. Eric Embry, I want to tell you something, boy. When Doug was a little bitty boy, I used to knock him down. I used to hit him upside the head because I wanted him to be mean. I didn't want to take any crap off anybody. And boy, when he gets in the ring with you, your life is going to be gone. So make that your will, because my brother is going to break you in half. And Tony Anthony, you're mine for the picking.
All right. Hot stuff, Eddie Gilbert. And oh boy, he's fired up today.
So Eddie doubles down on the fact that Doug is going to murder Eric Embry at the Pipkins building Monday night down there. But again,
Michael St. John's.
Great babyface, fiery promo there. We talked about last week, you know, Eddie did the promo talking about how it was going to be he and Jeff Jarrett were going to be the ones to continue to carry the torch for the USWA. And this week he talks about all the second generation guys there in Memphis and, you know, it being tough for them coming behind their dad. He even mentions Jamie. I forgot to mention earlier what a tremendous rat tail Jamie's got going at this point. Just in fine form. His hair looked less like a coonskin cap, but he definitely had grown out the rat tail even more.
Have I told y'all my first girlfriend had a big long rat tail? Did I tell y'all that?
Yes. And I'm still disturbed by that every day since.
Now, is this one of those like prison situations where you're my girlfriend? or is it
No.
girlfriend?
Gotcha.
She wasn't from Canada, y'all. Come on. She was real.
He
That's
has.
why it looks like
he
that.
has,
That's why it looks like that down there, because she's from Canada.
Yeah.
He has a rat tail about getting some rat tail from a
There you
girl with a rat tail. And that all makes sense if you think about it. It's different spellings of the word. But anyway. So Eddie Gilbert's fired up for the Dirty White Boy. He like I say, he doubles down. Doug's gonna kill Eric Embry Monday night. And the Gilberts are both baby faces here in Memphis. This is unprecedented territory. We've never seen Eddie and Doug Gilbert as a baby face. We've never seen Doug Gilbert as a baby face up to this point that I can remember anyway. So there you go. And now someone else who lost a loser leaves town match is here. Downtown, uptown, Bruno Mania is out here. And he points out that, yes, he did lose the match to Miss Texas, but that match stated he cannot wrestle in the USWA for 30 days. So he's got a karate glove with him, and he issues a challenge for karate glove boxing matches against Miss Texas, which, dear Lord, dude, if you thought wrestling her wasn't fun, wait till she's punching you in the head. God help us. But Eddie Marlin comes out. Lawler points out, like, hey, I think this is another one of those times, Eddie, where you can kind of make an exception and stick it up Eric Embry's ass. So that's what they did. And we're going to have a series around the horn, I'm sure, of fantastic boxing matches between Miss Texas and poor Bruno. I'm sure he carries the concussions to this day.
With that idea in mind, and forgetting what Jamie just did for Bill, like, can you imagine if he came out with that attitude first? It was like, says I couldn't wrestle, brother. It didn't say anything about rugby matches, and like they did wasn't it WCW in like 1990, right before this happened. In the timeline of things, they had a bunch of football matches where they dress up in pads and whatever. or was that AWA?
They did do an AWA in the Team Challenge series, but they did some of those in Memphis in like 88 or 89. There was like football, like around the time that Cactus Jack and Gary Young was a tag team. I remember them having some football matches with the stud stable and Robert Full out there. Had a big orange jersey.
Hey, that would be an uncomfortable. Are you familiar with the football? I know BT probably is. The football play, the what is it? The tush push.
Yeah, the tush push. That would be uncomfortable.
Robert Fuller involved in that play.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that.
It would be more of a ham slam than a tush push, I believe. But anyway,
why do they call you the stud?
Well, you about to find out.
Stud, I love you. or I love you, Stud, whichever one it was.
So we hear from the Stud and Jeff Jarrett. They come out and they talk about how they've ran the Texas Hangman out of town, one and done on these Texas Outlaws that showed up last week dressed like the Assassins. And now this week they're going to be taking on Tex Salinger. Now in WCW, they called him Tex Slazenger, but at this point in Memphis, he's Tex Salinger and his tag team partner, the Master Blaster. Now there's a lot of bad reporting out there. If you go to some of these results sites and you click on the name Master Blaster, they're going to tell you that that's Mark Canterbury, Shanghai Pierce. That's not Shanghai Pierce. That's not Mark Canterbury. BT knows exactly who that is. Tell us who this Master Blaster masked tag team partner Tex Salinger is.
I think Tex did a show in Jonesboro as the Master Blaster. I think. But the Master Blaster on TV today was my old tag team partner, Jack Diamond. And I remember this so clearly. And if you watch the match, Jack had to find a mask to put on, and it wouldn't fit. So he put a piece of cloth across the bottom of it. And during the whole match, if you watch, he's trying to make sure that it don't go over his big head and just pop off. It's god awful, that mask is. And Master Blaster, I mean, he could he's just got a regular singlet, so he didn't look very good. I do know the reason he got this spot was because of Fuller. Fuller really liked Jack because he was a big guy, and he thought that that he could work with him and everything. Jack had a big head when it came to, he thought he should have been the star. As Lawler even commented that Jack was mouthing again. He was always trying his best, but he also worked, the Dallas and then did the whole loop and didn't make any money at all. I think he was making like $15 a night, so he was out of there really quick. Something else on this match, the Scorpion and Freddie Morton. Freddie Morton name sounded so familiar, and I reached out to Brian Turner again. Freddie Morton ran Columbia, Tennessee. And that is actually the site. I worked for this promoter. Tommy Higgy, the Mephisto was the one that booked me, but I worked for this promoter on my very first match, BT Express in Columbia, Tennessee, which had a Ninja Turtle which had a Ninja Turtle who was Chris Champion on the card with me. But yeah, that Freddie Morton was a trivia question for me, but I just couldn't remember who the hell it was. So.
Yeah, they eventually named the venue they were in, like the Freddie Morton Sports Arena or something such. Because I heard that name, Freddie Morton, I'm like, I know that name. And I got to doing some digging, and I realized that's who that was. And, of course, Scorpion has been around quite a bit. It's funny you mentioned that Diamond has a big head, both figuratively and literally. He could barely keep
He barely put that mask on, and it didn't fit. You could see it didn't fit. So I don't know what that pink. I think it's just a piece of cloth that they sewed to it. It's god awful.
It's awful. Like I said, he's just in Texas got this cowboy thing going on. They're hanging out with the Texas guys, but yeah, he's just got a wrestling singlet and some weird mask on. Seems totally out of place. Like
I thought Tex looked good, y'all.
Texas, yeah.
Him and Diamond don't have any experience whatsoever, but Tex looked really good here.
Yeah, I think this is really like Dennis Knight's first territory he goes to. I mean, I know he did some matches down in Florida, but this is the first territory he goes outside of his comfort zone.
Yep.
Shows up in Memphis, and he and your friend attempted murder upon the Tennessee Stud. Good God, look at this.
Jeff Jarrett, Robert Fuller. Hey, look at it. That's the massive Lester, Tex Salinger. Oh, man. We may get to see that championship match right here. Yeah, we may. Hey, this is oh, boy, I tell you, I knew they were here to come in here. There's Embry and Pritchard. Come on. Oh, boy. These guys out of there. Oh, man. Well, Lawler, King, don't go anywhere now. Don't get involved in that. Let's see if we can get somebody out of over there. See, this is what these guys try to do. It's 4-on-2 in there right now. Oh, man, oh, man. What has he got? Tex Salinger has a plastic bag. What is he doing? He's putting it over. He's trying to suffocate Robert Fuller. Come on. Oh, man. Hold on, King. You can't go in there. Eddie Marlin, get somebody out of here. They got a plastic bag. Come on. Here comes Ben Jordan and Jordan. Oh, man, I'll tell you. They've got that plastic bag over Fuller's head. Come on, Freezer Thompson now. Oh, Freezer. Oh, man. They're holding the bag over the guy's head. Eddie Marlin, get somebody out here. Bruno now. Oh, man. Bruno can't get in the ring. Oh, man, I tell you. They're going to kill this guy with a bag over his head. Come on, Embry, you lowlife. Danny Davis. All right, Danny. He's getting in there. Where is Dundee? We've got to get some help for Robert Fuller out here. And they got a plastic bag over this guy. Come on, Danny. All right. There's the superstar, Bill Dundee, Hurricane Walker. Oh, man, oh, man. I know who we are, man. Oh, they're trying to get CPR on Robert Fuller. Oh, man, I tell you, it's ridiculous. The guy comes out here, tries to wrestle, and that's what you call trying to just take someone out of the profession. That's ridiculous. A plastic bag over Fuller's head. And they're still working CPR. They've been working CPR on him here. Oh, I think he got him coughing now. They can get him up. Jeff, yeah, who's that? Danny Davis.
he knows a little bit about CPR. He's trying to get him up there. Man, oh man, I tell you, it's just, boy. Oh, these Texans, Embry, and then that Master Blaster and Tex Salinger come out here. And they were obviously trying to make I don't know what kind of point they were trying to make, but Robert Fuller, he's gagging now. They're trying to get him up so they can.
There's so much to talk about right here. Oh man, this is ridiculous. Oh man, it's ridiculous.
Gene, I think you should play that Uncle Danny. I don't play because he's a CPR guy. You need to play that.
He knows a little bit about CPR, is what.
Yeah.
I don't play.
And I am also certified in CPR.
So watching this to start with, this is hilarious to me. Like, we're playing this as such a serious moment. These guys just tried to literally kill Robert Fuller on live television. Not since Eddie Gilbert and Doug tried to hit Lawler with a car have we seen this kind of attempt on someone's life. We go to a break. So he's been smothered, and now he's been out for, like, as Lawler kept pointing out, 3 or 4 minutes. And when we come back from the break, we don't see a medic. We don't see an EMT. We have got a gang of wrestlers trying to revive a guy who's just been smothered with a bag. Corey says, Danny Davis knows a little bit about CPR in there. He's pumping his chest. Dundee's blowing into his fucking mouth. And then he finally starts, he's coughing and gagging in there, which I was waiting for Corey to go, it's pretty appropriate because I think he's probably gagged a few people in his time, if you know what I mean. But, oh my God. And the thing I couldn't get over as I'm watching Tex Salinger hover over Robert Fuller with the bag, and I get a look at what Tex Salinger Dennis Knight looks like at the time, I can't get over, like, Kenny Powers is in here trying to kill the Tennessee Stud here on USWA TV. But I mean, could they have not had just somebody who acted like they were some sort of EMT? As fans, we're supposed to think just a bunch of wrestlers are trying to save this dude's life and nobody else is being involved in this. It's so funny.
Well, they beat people up all the time. Like you said, Robert Fuller, of all people, should know CPR. I'm sure he's had to administer it on a few
many
ladies.
women.
Yeah. So, but it's logical. I mean, these guys are in battles all the time. Sure enough, Uncle Danny's had to apply it a few times. How do you work chest compressions? Because it looked like he was really doing them.
I know it. It did. It looked like, guys, y'all are better at putting things in place. But how many times had this gimmick been done? The bag over the head? Because I know my favorite one is with Terry Funk. That is my favorite one that they done it. And yeah. I think AEW does it every week, or at least 3 times. 3 times a month they do the same. But when was this first done? Because I don't remember it even happening on Memphis television, even though I was watching here. But was it done before that?
I'm sure at some point maybe they had done it a long, long time ago. Maybe I don't know that to be true. I mean, most famously, Funk doing that to Flair on national TV, to me, was the most memorable one that sprang to mind. That I remember as a kid going, "Oh my God!" and them saying that TBS was flooded with calls. And I read somewhere, I think maybe it was Meltzer, had said that TV5 got their share of calls off of this angle. So it's one of those things where they remember the outrage over the Lawler car bit. So it's just one of those things where, like, hey, attendance is down. We need to do something that's going to grab people's attention, something people can believe in. And that, to me, is what made it so absurd that they had nothing but wrestlers and they're trying to save this guy's life. It's like, all right, man, you're trying to sell me this is real. And you're telling me that nobody except Danny Davis and Bill Dundee, the future American Eagles, are in here trying to do CPR on this man? I mean, that's crazy.
I think I would have believed it if I would go back, if I was just a fan. Josh, did you put it up? Did you put it over as a kid? You believe he was trying to kill him?
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a really thick moment. It's really impactful because, like you say, Terry Funk and Flair was the last time that I remember it. And dude, as crazy as it was, Eric Embry gave a shit because did you notice he huddled up over there with your friend BT and
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice
Phineas. He got over there and he made sure that Dennis Knight tucked his head over so he could have some space between the bag and his neck, and the camera angle that was being shot, he wouldn't see it or whatever. Like Embry's so good, man, with the angles and stuff. He made sure to go over there and tell him that shit. And right after he walked away, that's when it all happened. I was like, man, yeah.
I want to tell you, as going back and watching those angles, and one of the things I dislike about AEW is that they just try to go over the line. I'm not a fan of this. I really am not, because even with I really like the Funk one, and watching this, I just feel kind of uncomfortable in thinking kids are watching this. That was, the thought that a kid would see that. And we played Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee on the freaking playground. Well, was some kid running around with a bag trying to kill somebody on the playground. So I
can confirm that did not happen. I was
okay. All right. Well, all right.
I watched this.
I was going to say, if we found the root of some of Richard's issues, the bag stayed on his head too long when y'all are doing Uncle Danny versus.
Oh, there you go.
No, I know how to bring you back. I watched Uncle Danny do it.
Yeah, you're good.
Josh, I got you, buddy. I got you.
Yeah, I mean that's what the complaint calls are all about. I think is just that, hey, kids are watching this and they may try to do this, but I mean there's a lot of things they do on Memphis wrestling that they probably shouldn't do to their friends. But yeah, I mean it just, I don't know, it feels heavy. And another thing that bothered me about this, so like Jerry Lawler famously didn't listen to his doctor or the promoter. Like for weeks, he was like, you've got to take some time off. All right, man, I'm going to take some time off. Dave, I'm going to be taking a few weeks off. Embry, you motherfucker, Monday night, one more time, non-sanctioned, da-da-da. So he's established that when he feels strongly about something, he won't listen. He'll do what he wants to do. But yet they announced at the beginning of the show, now, Jared, Dad said that you got to stay behind the desk guy here. You can't get involved. I'll even stop you if I have to. Jerry Lawler watches a man nearly get murdered and does not get up behind the desk.
Can't get in the ring to help save him. That's right.
Eddie Marlin, he wouldn't. It's like, all right. So, I mean, I would have rather him had to step out, like right before this segment. He was like, hey, I got a phone call. I got to take this. It's Vince or some shit, But for him to sit out there and watch and then act appalled, where's Dundee? I love how Lawler always calls him Dundee. Like, where's Dundee? Somebody get out here and help him. Like, you go help him, Lawler. And then, I don't know, it somehow took the realism away from me when Corey's pacing up and down. Oh, man, this is ridiculous. These Texas guys, they were trying to make a point, but I don't know what point they was trying to make. Like, they made a point they're trying to kill this motherfucker. That's the point, Corey. Like, you can't pick up on that and comment on it. Like, I love the fact, though, that he was right there by the ring. So, Fuller, Danny, all these guys are hearing, like, they know this is the soundtrack to what's happening right now, is this goof over going, oh, man, like he missed the bus or some shit. Like, like, I don't know. It would, I mean, Lance and even Dave are able to, add some drama and realism to things. And for them to go like, oh, man, we pulled this off. Everybody thinks Robert Fuller's dead. And you just hear Corey, oh, man, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And I'm sure if he says ridiculous one more time, I'm going to beat him to death with my cock when I get through that curtain back there.
I'm going to choke him out with a plastic bag.
I'm going to clear his airway, if you know what I mean. So here's another strange part of this. Two men just tried to commit murder on live television. And in the next segment, they're in an 8-man tag team match.
Right.
These guys all just have a match together. We've got Tex Salinger, Dr. Tom Pritchard, the Master Blaster, and the Dirty White Boy taking on the old Sesame Street. One of these things are not like the other. Nightmare Danny Davis, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Hurricane Walker, who we've established as an up-and-coming star. We put him over on Dr. Tom Pritchard. And their tag team partner, Freezer Thompson. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just pretend like that is something that should be happening. But yeah, what a way to follow up a suffocation angle here. Just go right into an 8-man tag team.
Hey, y'all just try to kill somebody, but we need a couple people to work here today. So could y'all go ahead and do that?
Yeah,
well, they still got to drive home, BT. They got.
Well, what was I thinking?
They signed the contract, BT. It's there's no getting around. We've proven there's no getting around these contracts. They're binding. So, what'd y'all think of this 8-man tag here?
I liked the way that this fall ended because you get a revived Stud and Jarrett come out there with some of the biggest boards that we've seen on this show so far. And they got revenge, dude. Like, they beat the shit plumb out of them boys. And, like, I know your friend, BT, Mr. Diamond, had to have a head injury after this, and I know they're not getting paid. It's free TV. So, but yeah, Stud hit him with that fucking board that was about that wide the first shot. He didn't get him hit on the head. He only hit him in the shoulder. So he realigned it, and Jack Diamond kind of fucking moved a little bit over to the side, and Stud took that swing, and he halved that board. And like, dude, it sounded rough. I said, holy shit. And Jeff, when he had a half board, he just started beating Dennis in the fucking shoulders all about. I mean, like, it looked like they were getting
it hurt.
Serious.
Jack came back from all that and was like, hey, he always said, hey, man, no matter what. So he said, hey, man, BT, man, they hit the shit out of me, man. They hit the shit out of me. So, yeah, with that, plus you got, they run a couple weeks in Dallas and a couple weeks in Memphis, and then, Jack's out of there. He's gone because he's not making any money, and they're not pushing him either.
So, we talked about last week how we debuted these Texas Assassins, and they just got their asses whipped by Jeff and Robert Fuller. Then Hurricane Walker fought him off by himself. And we're like, man, these guys got no heat. Like, these guys just got made to look like bitches in their debut, and they had their one-and-done match. So as I'm watching this, I'm like, all right, they learned from their mistake. They're trying to put some heat on old Tex and the Master Blaster here. They're trying to kill Robert Fuller. And then in the same show, Jarrett and Fuller come tearing ass out there. And I'm like, could we not just kind of let that heat build until Monday night? Let them try to get their revenge Monday night. If Jeff had come out here alone, maybe, but I don't know about. To me, this is like Lawler limping out after getting hit by the car. It's like, well, it seemed bad at the time, but it couldn't have been that bad. He's back out here within 10 minutes. So was it really that bad? Does it cancel out any heat that you got, or do they think that, man, that didn't really come off great? Like, it didn't get the reaction from the crowd that we wanted. Everybody's just kind of like, in their seats, so do they think they needed to do that to fire everybody back up? Maybe it was a reactionary thing. I don't know. There's no way to really know that at this point. Unless I'm sure Jeff don't remember specifically. Sure Robert Fuller doesn't either. But I was just curious. I was like, well, they corrected last week, so they got heat, but then again, they got their revenge in the same segment. So what did we really do?
I loved the Fuller. You didn't put the Fuller promo, but I thought it was good. He says flowers. Did y'all notice that? You got flowers. I was like, oh,
you gotta get him to buy you some flowers.
I loved it. Yeah, absolutely loved it.
They're all winners, but I was like, well, maybe some of the listeners are going to get tired of me playing every Fuller promo.
I know. I love Robert Fuller. Flowers.
Have you ever seen Flatliners?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, but it's been a long time.
So maybe what happened was when Robert Fuller crossed over to the other side for those 3 minutes, he was shown the way of the lion or something, and that's why he was so fired up, because he was literally rejuvenated from the other side. You know what I mean?
Could be.
Never in a million years did I think I'm going to get up and record this morning, and Josh is going to quote about flatliners. I would have never thought that. That's why I like doing this show.
Absolutely.
Flowers.
You never know what's going to come up here on the show. And so Jarrett and Fuller come out here and beat those guys half to death with boards. Eric Emery shows back up to rant one more time, guaranteeing he's going to end Doug Gilbert on Monday, and he's going to talk a little more shit to Lawler. So we know we're getting close to Lawler coming back, because Emery and him are both taking shots at each other. And then, of course, we put over the Monday night card, but what's most important is Lawler has to make sure we plug the hotline right before we warn the Texas faction that he's out for revenge. So that wraps up everything for this week on the show. So now we're ready to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back and hear the card for the Pipkins building and see what you guys thought about this week's show.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here. Lots of new stuff happening here at WrestleCopia. If you haven't checked out our website at WrestleCopia.com, it's a great way to keep up with the latest episodes of all of your favorite Copia programming, from the Wrestling Memory Grenade to Regional Wrestling with the Territory Talk, the Wrestling Stoop with the legendary Bob Roop, and of course all of those programs also available at your favorite podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the Copia world, all the latest news, random thoughts, fun videos, pictures, and more, make sure to join the more than 33,000 followers over at Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. Don't be left out. And last but definitely not least, it's what keeps the entire machine going. I'm talking about Patreon.com/WrestleCopia. We appreciate your support in helping us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCopia Podcast Network running and enabling us to continue to bring you all the quality programming that we offer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Chic, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise, this team does it all. And all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Tired of the same boring wrestling podcast? Need something with attitude, chaos, and maybe just a little cussing? That's stspod.club, and we got it all covered. We've got wrestling weirdness with WTF News Desk, 5-minute time limit, and the Southern Fried Brain of me, BT, steering the whole ship. We also have rolling into Memphis every week about the current Memphis wrestling. Interviews, hot takes, and wrestling outrageousness so wild it might get you banned in 12 states. That's right, it's SDSpod.club, or search all podcast catchers for Shooting the Shiznit, where wrestling podcasts grow chest hair. Not sure what that meant. Love my mama. Hey, Gene, before you go over the card, I want to make a note. We had a second fall, which I thought was funny that the Master Blaster and Tex didn't come out for that match. They just tried to kill somebody. They had to work. Now they're scared. They're not going to come out. They do this thing where Lawler snitches on it and they start the match back. But the funniest part of that is that double DDT where Dr. Tom and Dirty White Boy both get out of the ring after that, and no one goes to pin the guy. They have to get back. Somebody has to get back in the ring. I think it's Tony Anthony to pin them, but even Lawler snitches on that. He goes, they both got out of the ring. I'm like, damn, Jerry, you don't have to say they fucked up, but he did. He pretty much said they fucked up. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I got so sidetracked talking about them swinging the boards and everything, I completely forgot that. Yeah, there was a second fall there.
That double DDT was you pin them, no, you pin them, no, you pin them. So yeah.
Being such a Continental guy back in the day, it still feels weird, even in '91, to see the Dirty White Boy tagging with Dr. Tom Pritchard.
Yes,
after
yes.
Dirty White Boy tried to murder him with a
kill him.
I want to talk to Tom, but anyway, yes, good point, BT. I'm glad you brought that up. And now let's hear our first Monday night card, as told to us, from Corey Maclin. Down at the Pipkins building.
Do that. Memorial Day Spectacular across from the Coliseum at the Pipkin building. Monday night, 7:30 is bell time, and parking is free. Great night to bring out the whole family. May 27th, Memorial Day night. Let's take a look at the card. Opening bout, Nightmare Danny Davis. This will be a good one. He'll face the Texas Ranger, that guy that came in here in the opening bout. Danny Davis and the Texas Ranger. Second bout of the night, Chris Candino. We'll see him in the USWA. He'll be facing one of those Texas Outlaws. There are a couple of them. Texas Outlaw #1 versus Chris Candino.
Now, this Chris Candino is really a sharp-looking young guy. I want everybody to pay a lot of attention to him. He was supposed to be here last week. I met him up in Philadelphia when I was wrestling up there not too long ago and asked him about coming down here, and I think everybody's going to be real impressed with Chris. He's a great guy.
It'll be our first time seeing him here. All right, King. And then superstar Bill Dundee.
He's been added to the card. All right.
He put him back on the card. He put him in there. And Embry came out here raving that Dundee and Jamie put himself back in there, but it was the promoter that let Dundee come back, and he'll be facing Texas Outlaw #2 in that bout. I think one of the new kids were originally scheduled to be.
Yeah, but we've got Bill Dundee in there now.
Superstar Bill Dundee. That's a good one. Then we've got a ladies match. I'd like to see Donna Shepard get a hold to Miss Texas. She'll be in a single bout there. That's going to be an interesting match. Miss Texas met her match. Donna Shepard, I've seen her around, and she's pretty good.
She's pretty tough herself.
I she's tough. And then Hurricane Walker, I like him. He's in the USWA. He'll be facing Dr. Tom Pritchard in a single bout, and Pritchard got a little bit of him last week here.
Boy, I tell you what, Hurricane Walker came in and made a quick name for himself right here. He's going to be here on the show a little bit later on today, too.
Yeah, he's good looking. Then a grudge match. We'll have Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. He'll be in a single match facing Dirty White Boy Tony Anthony, and that's going to be a grudge in some of the bouts they've had last week, and even here on TV. We'll be talking with Eddie a little bit later today. Then a tag team match coming up. Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller, boy, what kind of champions they are.
USWA Tag Team Champions.
That's right.
Have you seen these guys yet?
Haven't seen the Master Blaster and Tex Salinger. Haven't seen them in the USWA.
Well, I have not seen them here yet today, but I have seen them wrestle as a matter of fact, in Dallas, Texas, and both of these guys, let me tell you one thing. They are big, just to say the least.
I've heard a lot about them,
and they're tough.
I've heard a lot about them, and they're going to be teaming up. And then the main event of the night.
There you go.
Flamboyant Eric Embry facing the Lone Ranger, and he wanted to know who the Lone Ranger is. He came out here and he showed him who he was. It was Dirty Doug Gilbert. The Lone Ranger versus.
So Chris Candino coming in. We haven't got his name figured out there. So trivia, the match doesn't end up happening, but do you guys know who Miss Donna Shepard is that's going to be taking on Miss Texas, or at least who is scheduled to take on Miss Texas? That's the future Samantha Payne.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's her legit name there, and for some reason she was advertised, and I don't think she was actually there. We'll hear Miss Texas took on somebody else as we pitch to BT in a moment to hear the results. But before we get there, we got to talk about today's television show. Guys, what was your least favorite part of this week's episode?
Man, I think I've said this before in the past, but I am just not a fan of the more than two people on tag team matches. Like, you know, if it's a really intense match and you got some major players and people that really know what they're doing, I can handle a trios or whatever the fuck. But yeah, I don't like the four guys on one side, four guys on the other. It's too many things happening. You know, I like to kind of focus my attention on just one thing or a couple of things. But yeah, it's small. It's a small gripe, but I've never been a fan of it.
I guess my least favorite's got to be the whole deal with just Marlon being the heel commish. He did that crazy thing with Jamie Dundee and then came out and did something with Bruno. It's just like the stipulations don't mean anything. So that was really my least favorite. And it feels like I said this last week a couple of times, but it just feels like we're going off the rails. Like everything was so good. And then at the end of May, we're just like, after it'll be 5 months. We're going into June, and oh my God, what's happening, kind of thing.
Yeah, my least favorite, just for believability standpoint, is for these guys to come out and put a bag over Robert Fuller's head and then immediately be allowed to be in an 8-man tag. Like, had you announced the 8-man tag earlier, and then this would kind of fix Josh's issue too, and like, all right, after what these guys did, we've kicked them out of the studio. This is just going to be a regular tag team match. Freezer, you can sit this one out. Hurricane Walker can draw straws amongst the three of them to see which tag team is going to face Dirty White Boy and Dr. Tom Pritchard. And that they would have got their heat, then got out. You'd have had to come to the Pipkin building to see any kind of revenge or to see how they were in the ring. I don't think getting to see as green as Dennis Knight was, and the fact that we'd just been seeing Jack Diamond as a jobber, I don't think it did any favors to see them in that match. It didn't make us want to go see them challenge the tag team champions. So, but anyway, that's just, my gripe. But what's your most favorite part of this show?
Got to be the plastic bag over Robert Fuller's head thing, man. I live for those moments in Memphis, like the super intense, memorable, and when I was 8 years old, I truly believed I witnessed an attempted murder. And I thought that was pretty cool because I was recording it at the time, and I could go back and watch it again.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I really loved the energy of it. And then to what I perceived to be the payoff, because it was for that moment, was those huge ass boards and them just literally beating the shit out of them.
Give
and
us a headache. Yep.
That made me believe that it was a legit situation, and that's why they're trying to kill them with those boards. So I absolutely loved it.
It's got to be my favorite part too. Like I said, I don't remember it. Now today, I would say that I'm just not a huge fan of those kind of angles. But that was, watching it then and watching it, putting it in the time, that was pretty awesome. One of you mentioned this, is that there's always something that Memphis does differently that draws the crowd. Lawler getting run over is one of them. And another one that I always think about is when Rick Rude went into the back of the studio and went out into the parking lot and smashed, was it Lawler's car with a baseball bat? Mm-hmm. I always think of those two angles. This one would have been one to put on it too, if I would have remembered it in the same timeline, because this is exactly what Gene said. We're kind of tying up this feud, but we got to do something. We can't just bring in a team and not do something heelish to get them over. And attempted murder, that's kind of heelish. So yeah.
So one thing that just struck me as I was listening to you guys, like at the beginning of, if anybody listens to P3 radio, at the very beginning of the intro, you hear all these lines from Josh and Richard, and like from other people too. But like, if we were going to ever put like lines, like a quote from each one of us in the intro to the USWA show, it would now be, I was so excited as a kid. I thought I had just witnessed an attempted murder, and it was cool because I was recording it. That would be like the defining quote from Josh right there. I love that.
Oh, yes, very much so.
My favorite part of this week's show, and I'm not even kidding, Corey Maclin's here.
Oh, yes.
Been waiting for it.
He's telling the truth, Josh. Gene messaged me and said, I just started watching it. Corey's on it.
I was giddy, man.
All excited.
I mean, it's probably for all the wrong reasons, but I'm still happy he's here.
But dude,
So-
I got that feeling while I was watching. That's why I was pointing as you were talking about it. It seemed like he slid on in, and he's always been here. Whenever I'm watching this, like I remembered thinking as a kid, I didn't recognize him, but it felt like, well, he's all right. And I never even, usually a change in something like that would always, make me uncry. I don't like this, and you'd have to grow on you or whatever. But it's like Corey it's like the Grady in The Shining. You know what I mean? In the bathroom scene with Jack Nicholson, he's like, you've always been the caretaker. Just like I've always been here. It's that whole thing. And yeah, it's that feeling like he just slid on in. It's supposed to be this way.
I didn't think he was as bad on this either. After listening to him do the commentary, I was just like, he done a good job. And you hit on something earlier, Gene. I think maybe he was he was probably a little nervous in the sense that he didn't want to do anything goofy, blah, blah, blah. When Corey gets in charge and he's the top babyface of the promotion, there's no stopping him. It gets bad. It gets really bad. So,
yeah, he hadn't fell into any weird habits here. He wasn't being someone else. He was just Corey calling a wrestling show, and I like that. I wish we could have kept that because, man, when we get to 93, it's in there, and all the. Like I said, at times it felt like he was doing a terrible Lance Russell impression, and here he just felt like, hey, he's this guy that showed up and. He's not even
Lawler
commenting on anybody's big legs or, how good looking anybody is or any of that. But
he put over Walker. So he put over that Walker, good looking kid. So
all right, now you didn't expect the Flatliners comparison. Did you expect Corey Maclin to be compared to the bathroom scene from The Shining?
No, I didn't. I mean, Josh has surprised me both times. I wasn't even going to put it over. I'm going to be a real nerd. Right now, y'all read the book. It's better than the movie.
There's no Jack Nicholson in the book. Come on, man. All right. So would you guys buy a ticket to see this week's show?
Yes. Yeah. I'm still plugged in to the Texas versus Tennessee thing and excited about Doug Gilbert being back. And is super fired up. He's going to make Embry beg for his life. It's as far as I can remember, it's his first main event in Memphis, right? So
single wise for sure.
Yeah. So and Robert Fuller's. I would still be pissed if you just tried to kill me. So who knows what he's going to bring to the Pipkins Center, as Lawler called it earlier. He don't know where he's at.
No, so, I thought Lawler was really good, but I thought it looked bad when he was out there, and he was doing a fantastic Lance Russell trying to talk those people through the promos. But what he was wearing, I was like, man, Jerry, dress up, fuck, a pair of jeans and a shirt.
They said it was last minute. He was probably just at like Radio Shack or some shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, come to the studio. It's just Corey. Who? Well, you'll figure it out.
You know that guy, the media guy. All right. So
I'm not going by that. I am going, but the only reason I'm going is my buddy Jack Diamond called me and said, hey, man, come down to the Mid-South Coliseum. We'll get you through the back and you'll get a free seat. That's the only reason I'm coming. Well, I'm not going to the Mid-South Coliseum, but I'm going to the Pipkins building. But I would go just for the reason to see Jack wrestling, and hopefully he's got a new mask by then. So
yeah, maybe you bring him one.
He's gonna need one because you already said he had a big ass head and barely fit in it. Well, he's got like 3 more pop knops that are probably a little more swollen. So.
Yep, that hurt. I know that hurt. So
wears a bag over his head after those board shots. All right, BT, we're going to throw it to you as you are our observer man, and you're the one that brings us the results each and every week now here on the USWA podcast.
And I always like to look at Dallas the day before. So Friday night, the day before the Saturday TV tapings, I just like to see who was there. Dave says that there was 386 people in Dallas. There was a huge rainstorm. And Eddie Gilbert, Chris Candido, who was in Pennsylvania wrestling, the Texas Hangman, and the Boogeyman were all no-shows, or they were announced. The Boogeyman was Rick Hazard. Who is that? Do y'all guys know who that guy was?
I've heard that name.
If you look at some of those episodes of like USWA Challenge and that shit from Dallas, he had on like a god awful hockey mask, not like a legit hockey mask like Sid wore as Lord Humongous, but like the kind you find at Halloween, the glow in the dark, shitty little hockey mask you got at Walmart. He wore one of those and just a thrown together outfit. The gimmick looked like shit. And,
did he work anywhere else as Rick Hazard, or did he work jobs or anything? Because he didn't come to Memphis. He's one of those guys that didn't get on the bus. So
he came to Continental as Rick Hazard. Like I only saw him on TV once, but I remember him coming to Columbus and doing like a couple of tag matches down there. And I'm like, why is the world class referee wrestling in Continental? Because I remembered him well from world class TV because it was coming on every afternoon at the time.
Right.
When I get home from school, and then they're like, and his tag team partner Rick Hazard. I'm like, referee? What the fuck are we doing? And then I don't know that he ever really wrestled in world class until this stint USWA where they called him.
Right.
Yeah, they gave him that mask. I mean, it was bad.
We had Pritchard there. We had Walker there that Friday night. These are all guys that jumped on the bus to drive back. Danny Davis got beat by El Grande Pistolero, who was on his way out 3 times, we said. I put Gary Young, but that wasn't Gary Young. Sweet Georgia Brown, Miss Texas was there. Tony Anthony, Fuller, Jarrett, Embry, and Pritchard all got on the bus, or they had to travel from Dallas to Memphis that morning. And then Monday night at the Pipkin building, I don't have an attendance. Did you see an attendance?
It was 8 something. It's like 870 something.
That's really good compared to that's another maybe extra 100 for killing somebody.
Extra 100 and doubling Dallas. More than doubling Dallas. So.
Texas Ranger was Jeff Gaylord. He beat Uncle Danny. Chris Candido was there, beating one of the Mask Outlaws. Bill Dundee beat the other Mask Outlaw. Miss Texas beat Brandywine. Tom Pritchard beat Hurricane Walker, who we know that's his last appearance in Memphis Wrestling. Eddie Gilbert beat Tony Anthony when, after a ref bump, Tom Pritchard, Miss Texas, came out and tried to hit Eddie with his boot, but Eddie ducked and Anthony was hit instead, and they argued after the match. God, that was Southern, wasn't it? Jesus Christ. Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller kept the USWA tag team belts, beating Master Blaster and Tex Salinger when Fuller pinned Blaster after a pile driver. Oh my God. So Jack had to take a pile driver that night. And in the main event, Eric Embry pinned Doug Gilbert when he hit him over the head with a Texas flag. Here's one of the comments from Meltzer, which I thought was hilarious. Maybe this is the one you're talking about. Master Blaster is Jack Hicks, who worked just a few weeks earlier without a hood as Jack Diamond. He owns the dubious distinction of being the only human being on the face of the earth ever to put Brian Trammell over in a wrestling match. So there you go. That's but that was true at the moment. I had beat him in Dixie, Arkansas, believe it or not, in a little building. And then I ended up winning a match, an 8-man tag. I was in an 8-man tag. And the boys told me as we were going out, hey, you pin so-and-so. And I was like, what? I'm just in there for the comedy. I had put tights on and somebody's boots, and had a shirt that was cut open, and I had leopard tights on, and was just having a good time, I was just going to do comedy. I was going to run in there and punch somebody and then run out of the match. But at the very end, the heels put a finishing move on it, tagged me in, and I pinned somebody. So I had 2 victories. There you go. So I've had 2 victories.
The other line, I definitely was hoping you were going to make mention of that. I assumed you would. The other 2 lines in there that I was kind of referencing at the beginning, after they ran down the card in the Observer for this week that we just went over, Dave says, this may be the weakest Memphis lineup I can ever recall.
Oh, wow.
Ever. I was like, Jesus, dude, that's kind of harsh. And he also put in there, Nightmare Danny Davis is leaving shortly and is going to spend the summer in Florida. So
Yep.
Uncle Danny will be departing soon. Another little paragraph in the Observer around this time says, apparently the USWA deal with ESPN has about 5 weeks left before either renewal or termination. It's no secret that ESPN hasn't been happy about the program content since the beginning. The on-again, off-again negotiations between Joe Pedicino and Max Andrews are apparently on again. Pedicino has talked about getting the time slot when the contract is up. Of course, I'm sure they weren't impressed with these crowds they were drawing in Dallas. I mean, these, you read these 386 people, and that's getting shown on ESPN on their show. And of course, we know that once this deal runs out, Max Andrews does take it over. Joe Pedicino gets involved. And here comes the Global Wrestling Federation. So, interesting week of notes in the Observer, but I love
and
that.
Eric Embry also missed a few shots during this week. His knee went out, so he wasn't on some of the spot shows, but Dave said he'd be back by so he hit all the main shows, but took some time off on the spot shows.
The dubious distinction of being the only human being in the face of the earth ever to put Brian Trammell over in a wrestling match. I clipped that and sent that to him recently. But there you go. That's this week in USWA Wrestling. The Lone Ranger will be challenging Eric Embry, and of course it is Doug Gilbert. All right, well, before we get out of here, we've got to hit the plugs. stspod.club. BT, what's shaking over there, man?
All right, every day we do the Shiznit Minute to talk about the current wrestling scene. We finished up Saturday episode 1009, which was rolling into Memphis 250th episode with Jerry the King Lawler, and we're going to talk about that episode on the Patreon. We have WTF up on all the feeds, your feed, my feed, everybody's feed. And we also have coming this week, it's a crossover with two of my podcasts. What you do is you come on, tell your worst, wear a Christmas sweater. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to do this. So if you're listening to this, you probably are, but wear a sweater, a t-shirt. We're going to give away a prize for the worst one. And then you tell me your most hated Christmas song. Plus, you tell me the worst Christmas present you ever got. Fun stuff. It should be fun with everyone when we do some kind of theme episode. Everybody has a great time, but it is going to be open to anyone that wants to come on to talk for 5 minutes or less this time. And speaking of time, Gene, so we got some talk behind the scenes that possibly, just possibly, I spend too much time talking about P3 Radio. So I wrote down a bunch of comments, as I always do. And remember, Josh, 4 out of 5 hoots. And remember, everyone else, that this podcast always talks about videos but never shows the links. But we have something new. From this point on, it's called P3 Radio Shiznit Minute. You'll see if you're watching the video, you'll see a banner show up. And when the banner disappears, I have to shut my mouth. So if you got, Josh, I know you and Gene always have something to say when I'm talking. Just give me that minute and we can talk about something else. I appreciate it because it's a whole minute and I'm going to try to get through all of this. All right, here we go. P3 Radio episode 435. Raccoons are everywhere. We talk about bad knees and mental health. Richard's favorite saying is, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm glad he's going to be honest. He's going to have some kind of spinal fusion, or he's had one, but he's probably going to have a bunch of other stuff. We'll eventually have Richard as a bionic man. Richard thought he had a kidney stone. What else? Josh talks about getting over hemorrhoids, and it was always a major part of P3 Radio. I feel your pain there, Josh. Richard says that it would be difficult for him to give a blowjob because of his neck problems. Richard was not depressed. He was just in a coma. would you give oral sex for bill money? There we go. That was it, folks. That was the Shiznit P3 Radio Shiznit Minute. You'll have to listen to the episode to get everything.
Yeah, it wasn't that anybody was upset that you were putting over P3 Radio. It was just that you were recapping the entirety of the whole show.
It's okay.
I actually got a chance to listen to this week's show driving back from Mississippi last night. And yeah, I mean, I know you hear some of those things that BT says, and like, I didn't really talk about that, did it? Yeah, they did. Richard did. Ponder. Josh hit him with that famous hypothetical. Would you blow a guy if it alleviated your back pain? Mm-hmm. And then Richard, of course, turns it into semantics of, well, I don't know if my neck could get in the right position or if I could bend down, and it turned into a whole thing.
I had a solution to that.
Yeah. Josh worked it out for him. He's nice like that. And then they contemplated shoving an ice cube up Josh's ass when he had issues from his.
I contemplated it. It wasn't a team situation.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like Richard's like, hey, let me try this for you. I think it's going to help, and it's been a while. So anyway, let's move past that. Let's not talk about people shoving ice cubes up their ass and that being the last thing people remember. Let's talk about USWApodcast.com, where you can find all the links to everything related to this very show right there at USWApodcast.com. In fact, you can find this link, youtube.com/@retro wrestling archive. 4,000 wrestling videos are there. All the different, when you hear BT talk about all the different shows we're putting up on the different feeds, they all end up there at the Retro Wrestling Archive YouTube channel, plus tons of full episodes of every kind of wrestling you can think of. Not just Memphis, but a whole hell of a lot of Memphis is there. And we would love it if you would check out patreon.com/retro wrestling archive. Everything that I do goes up early over there on the YouTube, sometimes up to a week or more, but at least a few days. Plus a lot of original content. Me and BT have our 1987 Memphis review show, the Ride Along Ringside shows, the video version of the WCW podcast. You can also check out patreon.com/shooting the shiznit. We finally got a link up for
hard for me to remember.
That hard to remember STS Patreon there. So thank goodness we finally got it typed out for everyone to see. Plus, we got the Substack at Retro Wrestling Archive. It's where you can find my written articles. Posted one this week on Ox Baker that I've been getting some good feedback on. Thank you to everybody who's reached out about that and helped share those around. We're starting to get more and more people subscribing to the Substack. So thank you for that. Also, the Wolfie D book is now up as an ebook where you can read it on your Kindle or your phone or however your what is that? The Apple gimmick.
I think they call it
iPad
books,
or book, whatever the fuck. You can
remember
read it on there. You don't have to have a
days,
physical. You don't have to carry a physical book around. You can read it at your leisure. So there you go. I think that covered everything. Pretty damn close. But again, you can join either one of our Patreons to check out the Hot Mic Show, which is the post show that we record literally immediately the minute this show ends. We're into the Patreon. And as BT mentioned, we're about to watch the Jerry Lawler clip from this week's Memphis Wrestling, and we're going to talk about it. And I think that should get pretty interesting. That was a topic of discussion in the dressing room last night.
Oh, wow.
And there were some mighty strong feelings on both sides of the fence. So we'll talk about that as well. So, folks, join us here again next week for more of the show. And before we go, guys, any last words? That sounds ominous. Sorry.
I'd like some future words, but none right
Not
now.
forever, just for this week's show. I'll make that very clear.
Love my mama.
BT? Okay, I was about to say, what are we doing?
Yep, that's it for me.
Josh is remotely fond of his mother as well. He just doesn't like to brag about it in public.
Yeah.
See you next week for more of the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast.